In today's video, I'm talking to lovely Katie from Katie's Tutoring. She's very kindly agreed to share her tutoring journey with me. So if you are a tutor starting out, I think this video will be perfect for you. I've known Katie from Facebook and we have become Facebook friends, and I've even had the opportunity to work with her gorgeous children. So I'm so pleased she's the first guest. If you're new to my channel, you will know or not know that I share tips to help parents, children, and professionals. So I'm so pleased to welcome Katie for my first ever guest on my video. So thanks for joining me, lovely.
Thank you so much for having me.
Right, so I've got lots of questions to ask you. So we'll get cracking. So the first one is, I'm just looking at my notes, so that's why I'm like this. So what is your background in education?
Okay, so I was a teacher on and off for about 16 years. I took a bit of a break when I had a messy play business, so I was still with children, but I was more with toddlers and babies, and that was really lovely. But I've been on and off full time, supply, part time. Then I've had all my children, so I've kind of been
Oh,
in and out kind of thing. And then yeah, it was my third baby, maternity leave. Didn't want to go back. I think that's quite common, isn't it? But
yeah.
and then I discovered tutoring and how it can actually be your full-time job, and I had no idea.
Lots of teachers I worked with did the same as you. They, had children and went on maternity, that kind of thing, and they either came back and they were like super women, but they just thought, no, I need to, make a change. I want to be with my children more, because it's whatever decision you make, it's really, really hard, isn't it? Like you don't know what the
Yeah,
right decision is, whether to stay in the job or whether to find another job, and it's just whatever works for you. Oh, lovely.
yeah.
Right. So when did you actually first hear about tutoring, and what made you think of it initially? Like, where did you come across it?
Well, actually, it was about 12 years ago. I
Oh,
did a bit of tutoring pre me having children, and I charged £20. I only had a couple after school. I don't even remember how I got them, to be honest. I don't know where I found
oh,
them. But I remember going around their house, and yeah, I remember doing English with them. Um, and then I didn't do it for ages, 12 years actually, or 10 years now.
oh,
Um, and it wasn't me that thought about it, it was my husband. And he said, on maternity leave, didn't want to go back. I asked to go back for part-time, but they couldn't give that to me. So they said full-time or nothing, really.
mm,
um, so he said, well, maybe do supply and maybe do some tutoring. And I was
oh,
like,
yeah,
oh yeah, because he did mention it actually over lockdown and everything. Um, but I thought, oh, I can't really do that because I was still in full-time employment kind of thing through lockdown.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, when he mentioned it, I was like, yes, of course, yeah, why not? I'll give it a go. See if anyone local to me would like any. And I started off with a couple after school that I went to, which I loved. But yeah, I had no idea about any online tutoring, or it was all brand new to me.
I
This whole
think,
world.
yeah, a lot of people do that combination though, don't they? They do supply and then they do tutoring, because we all know supply isn't great pay.
Yeah.
And you need something else. And you see it all the time on Facebook. They're like, what else can I do? And often that is the normal combination. And it's great that your husband like suggested it. I
Yeah,
wonder where he got it from.
I don't know. He must have remembered that I did it before. I'll have to ask him.
See
Uh, yeah,
how he
but
planted the idea.
yeah, I think yeah, I have to thank him definitely for that then.
Right. Um, so obviously I think you've kind of answered this question, but what made you, well, obviously you took the leap into tutoring because of supply. So that was the initial thing that made you do it in the end. Right, lovely. So in terms of your start of your business, what did that look like in the beginning? Because as we know, the start of my business was way different to what I do now. So like you don't have a clue at the beginning, do you? You just don't know what to do at all. So what did it look like for you in terms of, were you more face to face? Were you more online? Were you a mixture? What about the two?
So it started off just face to face, and I was just advertising my local area. I actually got quite a few children that were in my daughter's class.
Oh,
Which was
okay.
lovely. It was really lovely. And I look back. This sounds like I'm really old. I look back really fondly on the first bit of it because it was also it is still exciting, of course. Like I'm
Yeah.
not that, but it was just the unknown and I had these children who I'd go to, and it was just lovely. And I used to plan my route so that I got to them all in time and everything. And then to be honest, I don't even remember my very first online session. I don't know whether my memory's going, but I remember that just unlocked everything. It unlocked groups. It unlocked, even doing this podcast. I never in a million years thought I'd do a podcast with someone. It's like
Mhm.
it's although actually no, this isn't a podcast, is it?
Not
It is
yet.
kind of, no, it is like a video
Oh,
podcast.
visual one.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I never thought I'd, like you said, it kind of takes you on a journey that you didn't think you could do, because I thought,
Yeah.
oh no, well, my confidence, absolutely not. But yeah, and now I'm doing like workshops for tutors, which I never thought I'd do. I thought that's too scary. But yeah, it's just I think with tutoring you can have an idea of what it looks like. Like I just thought it'd
Mm.
be face to face, and I was perfectly happy. But then to what it's kind of gone to, it's amazing. I never thought I'd be doing it.
Yeah, that is one thing that can surprise a lot of people because like we all have that image of what it should look like, but you only know what it looks like until you do it yourself and until you find what works for you, I guess. And
Yeah,
then so now then, how do you how does your business look? Are you just purely online? Or do you just still do any face to face or anything like that?
Yeah, it's half and half really. So I do my face to face locally with my local council, but all my and so yeah, so that's online. I do some one-to-ones. I do some online groups. So it's a bit of a mix and match really, but I love that because every day is completely different. So I'll be
Mm.
popping in and out, and I'll be coming upstairs doing my online groups and things, and then going out and then coming back in. I think sometimes my children are like this, my little ones, like, oh, like a tennis match. Oh, mummy's going again. um, but I love that because I love being busy, and I love that, it's
Yeah.
so it's yeah, a bit of everything. I think if I was just online, I think I would miss the face to face and getting to know parents and things. But yeah, a mix is working for me, I think, at the moment.
Oh, that's really good to hear. What is something that has, despite everything else you told, that has surprised you the most about tutoring that you didn't ever imagine?
Um, I just think the amount of children that are online, or maybe even the amount of children that are home educated. I had heard of it before, but I think I was completely naive, or maybe even ignorant. I didn't really know anything about it. It's just a huge learning curve. So yeah, it did surprise me how many children are out there and how many children are available for you to tutor, kind of thing, even
Mm,
locally. Like I had no
mm.
idea. So that surprised me.
It is getting bigger though, and I think possibly that's due to lockdown. That's kind of made it even more so. And even now it's coming up, I don't know about you, but it comes up on my Google feed about the numbers increasing with home education and everything. So
Yeah,
yeah, there are a lot of children because when I grew up, you always thought everyone was at school, but it's not actually the case when you look into it more. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
true.
definitely.
What have you found to be the biggest challenge for you as a tutor?
So at the beginning, so it's a different challenge I have now, but at the beginning, I did miss like colleagues. I did miss the staff room. I did miss, checking in with your job share and kind of having a bit of a lot. Like I missed that.
Mm.
I also miss, weirdly, I missed like the Christmas night out at school, and the
Oh,
activity play, and just the build up of being at school when you're at Christmas time. I remember feeling a bit like, oh, about that. And also, I think another struggle is, or another challenge is kind of like holiday pay and sick pay.
yeah.
You've got to kind of plan in advance. And now I guess the biggest one is just juggling everything, just juggling, of course, everyone juggles life, don't they? But
Yeah.
you know, 4 children and tutoring and, you know, keeping the house acceptable. um so yeah, it's just a case of I have to be a bit militant about everything, and lots of lists, and everyone knows what they're doing, and yeah, I think you've got to be a bit like that. So the challenges have kind of changed as I've gone
Yeah.
on, but yeah, so
Mm. Do
it's a
you
bit.
find it hard and do you find juggling harder now or at school?
Oh, at school, 1,000% at school, because I was thinking about this actually. I'm exhausted, equally exhausted, really. But at school, I was coming home and it was unhappy, exhausted, if that makes
Mm,
sense.
yeah.
I was coming home and you know, I just feel so down because, you know, there's so much to do at school, and you know, you're not teaching necessarily the things you want to teach, or you know, I was, you know, you're told that, you know, you're not doing everything right, or there's this you're not doing, and it does bring you down. Whereas now I'm exhausted. I mean, my husband and I just collapse on the sofa at the end of the day. We're just like, oh, please don't talk to me. but but it's a happy exhausted. It's a you know, we did it, we did another day kind of thing. But it's a, yeah, it's a different exhausted. But yeah, definitely at school it was yeah, hats off to everyone who is still full-time teaching.
I can relate to that. I can really relate to what you've just said then.
Yeah.
What do you think you bring to tutoring from your education background that has helped you, you think?
Um, I think maybe I think all teachers who go into tutoring, you do have a bit of a bank of like either physical resources, or you have games in your head that you've played that have
Yeah.
worked well, or you've got things. I think as a teacher, you're very good at kind of thinking on your feet. If a session goes, you know, a different way or anything, you're quite good at kind of, you know, just kind of thinking of your feet and just changing a session. It might not look how you were gonna do it, but
Mhm.
if we want to do a session on trains now, yes, let's do it. Let's
That's one thing I love about your Facebook page is that you don't just do normal learning. Like you literally bring back the fun into learning.
Oh,
And
thank you.
it's really like you do come out of school thinking, oh, I've got to get everything done this term and I've got to do everything this term because you're on that checklist thing. But then
Yeah,
when you look at your Facebook and you're like, oh my gosh, that's such a good idea. That's so
no
much
checklist.
fun. That's really good.
Oh, thank you.
One of the things I found in the beginning of tutoring, like you say, the Christmas parties, found it's quite lonely when you first start out, especially when you don't have your friends. How have you found the tutoring community?
Oh, do you know what? It's absolutely amazing. I think if you are starting out tutoring, you've got to find your people, and
Yeah.
they are out there. I think if you've got a group of tutors, and they could be locally, they could be ones you go for a coffee with. I've recently gone to we took our toddlers, and me and a couple of other local tutors, to a soft play, and it was just lovely. We didn't really talk because they were just running after the toddlers, but or even online, like you might Zoom, you know, a group every, you know, month or so, or if you've got Facebook chat or a WhatsApp group, just having, they are your colleagues at the end of the day. It would just be like being at school, and
Yeah.
just being able to chat and say and vent sometimes, and be like, oh, you know, what do I do with this, or does anyone have any ideas, or you know, that kind of thing. It's invaluable. So yeah, the tutoring community again is something I never knew was there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's absolutely priceless, I think.
Yeah, they're really good people. Especially the ones we've reached out to, the ones we know. They're
Yeah,
really lovely.
absolutely.
If you were starting out as a tutor, what do you think you would do differently? What would you do differently, basically?
I would have done it years ago. That is
Well, that's
probably,
interesting.
yeah, I would have done it when because I've got some 4 children, and the two oldest are 11 and nearly 9, and I would have done it when I don't know if it would have been as popular then though, but I would have tried to do it when they were babies, because the amount of things, and you know, if you're listening and you're a mum as well, or a dad, the amount of things you miss when they're little, because you can't take necessarily their sports day, you can't take their birthdays off, you can't, all these things. Would have definitely tried to do it when they were littler, because I find that now I'm able to be there for my two littlest when they are going to, nursery eventually and school and things. But yeah, that would be, and that's probably my top tip. Just do it now. Do it
Do it
yesterday.
now. That's a great tip, yeah. It's
Yeah.
funny, isn't it? You go into what you think is right for you, and then you find something else, and you're like, where has this been all my life? Why
Yeah,
did I not know about this?
absolutely. But also I do believe in fate, and things happen for a reason. So maybe it
Yeah.
wasn't my time back then.
Yeah.
Maybe I had to maybe actually have to do the not I was going to say suffering. That sounds really dramatic. I didn't mean that. But maybe you have to go through that with school and, being unhappy and things. Maybe you have to do that to find something that actually you kind of deserve at the end of it, I guess.
Yeah. And it makes you actually appreciate it more.
Yes, 1,000 times yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
definitely. So, if you had advice for a new tutor, what would you give to them? What would you say to them if they were just starting out?
I would say you learn as you go. So, because I speak to lots of other tutors, and I think something that keeps coming up is, they're worried about taking the leap, or which is fair, absolutely fair enough, of course. But or they want to start when they've got their website ready. They want to start when they've got this ready and things are in place. And
Mm,
I just think you've just got to publish your page, start advertising, and you will learn how to do it as you go along. So
mm.
for my very first face-to-face session, I was really scared. I
It's
was so excited.
terrifying.
It is. I didn't, because I had my teacher hat on. I thought, right, okay. I did have my checklist, and I thought, right, we'll go through this. I timed it. I thought we'll do a 5-minute, game at the start.
Introduction,
Yeah,
main,
yeah.
plenary.
Yes, absolutely. And I took so much with me and didn't use a quarter of it. And it didn't need to be that regimented and things. So I get it that you want everything in place, but things like your website, things like, I don't know if you're doing a logo, or, you want to have all these amazing resources before you start, that can all wait. You can get that as you go along, kind of thing.
Mm.
Just start, have your first one, gain that confidence, and then you'll find out what works and what doesn't work.
Oh, and finally, where can people find you if they want their children to join your amazing classes, your one-to-one
Oh,
classes
thank
or your
you.
group lessons?
Oh, thank you. So I'm just simply Katie's Tutoring on Facebook. There's a picture of me, and I said to you before, it's a very old picture of me. I'm not going to put a picture like this on. With the dark circles under my eyes. Yeah, just Katie's Tutoring. I don't have a website or anything, but I'm on there, and yeah, you can just message me if you'd like to
And
join
you
me.
can see all her amazing photos because she's incredible. So make
Oh,
sure to
thank you
check her
very
out.
much. Thank you.
It's an absolute delight to talk to you today, especially as we haven't actually spoken properly like this before, have we? We've only
Oh,
spoken on
no,
chat.
lovely.
So you are just as I imagined in
Oh,
real life.
all good, I hope.
Oh, so thank you very much. And I really appreciate you coming on.
Oh, thank you so much.